All right, here's a story of another time. A car, a pretty girl, and a shine. We were the luckiest kids in the world. We all reached our later teens shortly after World War II. Every family had a well-maintained car that had seen them through the war. Most were built in the 1930s and were tough as nails. People had made good money during the war and there wasn't much to spend it on. Every family bought a new car at war's end. We boys worked and made enough money to buy an old car that was in excellent condition for about 3 days' wages. $50 was the going price. Every kid had a car. The popular way to stand out was to make your car better than the other guys in some customized way. This was an effort not lost on the girls. My 1940 Ford Coupe with fender skirts, white wall tires, and moon hubcaps was a dilly. Sounded great too with bored out mufflers. With an antenna sporting my girlfriend's ribbons, she looked pretty sharp. I parked her outside of Reed's drugstore and all us boys lined up along the front of the store to get our shoes shined. You just leaned up against the wall and hollered shine, and the boy who was your favorite shine, they often sang a little song as they shine. It's slap, slap, rap, rap, slap, slap, rap, rap. And kind of noises the rag made, they sang to. It was really pretty neat. My old car looked pretty sharp parked in front of Reed's drugstore. Gas was expensive back then, but if you was going to play the radio, you had to run the engine. Because the constantly playing radio would run the batteries down. Them old 6-volt batteries wouldn't stand a lot of draw, and those radios drew a lot of current. They had what they called a vibrator inside of them. It made a buzzing noise, and it converted direct current to alternating current because that was the only way they knew how to make a radio work back in them days. Anyway, when you leaned up against the wall with your foot up there and your shoe being shined, there was a way to comb your hair. You run a comb through your hair, you reached your other arm over your head and took your fingers and flattened the hair a little bit as the comb went through it. You brush from the front at the sideburns all the way back to the duck's ass at the back of your head. Now you had to do this just right, because if you did it fast, it wasn't cool. You had to be slow and methodical to show that you were not in a hurry. This had to be done at exactly the right speed to ensure the right visual effect. The clothes of choice were charcoal gray suits, pink dress shirts with French cuffs, gray and pink striped ties. Man, did we look sharp. The first guys to wear pink shirts must have been pretty tough because that was kind of sissy in the early years. Girls went from store to store shopping, walked past, and it wasn't hard to tell who was being favored by the sweet 16 blonde or the sultry brunette. We boys were on review and cool was in. It seemed to me these days that it's amazing how many trips back and forth from the Kresge 5 and to a dollar store and Mr. Sachs's clothing store the girls had to make to get their shopping done. A lovely lass might toss her head and look back with an up and down gaze, batting eyelashes. There was love and coming marriage in the air, and it was all in the eyes. You didn't step out to talk to even your girlfriend. Somehow, when the shopping was done, all we boys knew it. We took our girlfriends home for them to get dressed and put on the fineries that they had bought in the local stores there. While we boys went back into Dundalk, and we stayed around on the corner and talked. But you know, let me tell you a little bit of backstory on this. Dundalk was a little steel town. near the Bethlehem steel mills. And some of us got jobs there at a really young age. Because they would give you some kind of trade training. In my case, it was machinist trade. A high school education and a couple classes a night, 4 nights a week. But you know, it was great for me because the girls thought I was kind of cool. I was a steel man, as I told them all. And they thought they kind of liked that, I think. But I thought I was a steel man. I told the girls that, and told some of the older men in a restaurant drinking coffee that. Of course, they about died laughing. It kind of put me in a little different place than a boy in high school in 11th grade or something. And I played it up all I could. A friend of mine walked up to me one day. We were standing in Dundalk there. Back in those days, you had to fight for your girlfriend if somebody wanted to take her away from you. And the girls really appreciated it if you got a bruise or a black eye defending their honor. So we all tried to create that idea. A good friend of mine, Swartz, said, Doug, hit me. I said, what? He said, hit me. I said, what the hell is wrong with you? He said, I need a bruise. He said, my girlfriend would like me to defend her, and I'd like to tell her so. I'd tell her I did. So I hauled off and hit him, and much to my surprise, I knocked him on his ass. Well, he was a pretty good-sized boy, so that was one hell of a surprise to me. But anyway, about a year later, he whipped my ass in return. I guess it preyed on his mind all that time. Anyway, okay, back to my story. You didn't step out to talk to even your girlfriend. Somehow, when shopping was done, we knew it was time. Each of us took our girls home and came back to fool around with the fellas while they were getting dressed in their newly purchased get-ups. Sometimes it was a record hop, but mostly it was a pretty girl, a really sharp car, new suit of clothes. Man, did we shine. We were all spoiled, happy, and confident. This is Dundalk Bathing Beach, otherwise known as Snake Hole locally. Up at the end of the creek was a marsh, and once in a while a snake would come swimming down through the area where we all swam. We just splashed water at them and they went around us. Snake Hole was my place to go in the summertime when I worked 3 to 11 or 11 to 7 at Bethlehem Steel. I could always pick up a girl about midnight when a guy had bought her booze all evening and drank too much himself. On the following mornings, I could go to the beach about 10 a.m., catch a nap or two, play with the girls on the beach most of the day. Later, I had to go to work again. It was here that my good friend Swartz whipped me. He got even. The beach owner, an ex-professional wrestler, Don Might, was a pretty good boxer who had built a boxing ring and challenged all comers. He'd take on anybody. Past his prime, he could handle us boys pretty well, but once in a while a real man would show up and show him how it was done. Swartz said to me, let's go box. So I said, okay, and we put on the gloves. I, knowing I had knocked him down once, felt pretty confident. Well, it's one thing to knock him down when he wants to be hit, and quite another when he don't want to. He beat me around the ring pretty good. I think maybe he held back even at that. Anyway, I got what was coming to me. Him and I laughed about it one night at Chef Stag's bar in Dundalk. That was the local bar where all the married men went because their wives didn't care if they drank too much. What they cared about was that the place wasn't full of women. So it was a great place to hang out and shoot the breeze with a bunch of men. And there wasn't no household talk or women talk there. It was all sports and dirty jokes and what have you. Anyway, Schwartz and I remained friends ever after. Anyway, I guess this is about the end of this little piece of yarn here. And I hope y'all enjoyed. Come back another day for another yarn. Bye-bye. Doug here.